Hello, I'm Aaliyah from Guide to Tapping In. On this channel, we're going to be doing synastry charts, natal charts, and other aspects of astrology, like anything delving into the metaphysical, like numerology, spirituality. So if that sounds like something that interests you, be sure to subscribe. And in this video, we're actually going to be doing the synastry chart of Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz. So stay tuned. So before we start, I want to give some background on what a synastry chart actually is. A synastry chart is basically the relationship between two birth charts, and the birth chart times have to be accurate in order for it to be an accurate synastry chart. And in this case, I do have Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz's actual birth time, so this is going to be an accurate depiction of the synastry chart. I do want to say though, this video is for information only. It's easy to do celebrity charts because they have public lives and we're able to correlate certain aspects of their chart with what they've shown to the public, just to kind of explain their personality or that kind of thing. It's much easier than just doing a regular person who people wouldn't really know. So I want to put that out there. Also, there's another disclaimer that astrology only gives us information, and it's what we do with it. And because we all have free will, it's not going to determine whether or not a couple will last or if a couple will work or not. So I just want to keep that in mind. This video is just basically going to be, and all synastry charts videos I'm going to be doing are going to be delving into the energies that may have existed or may exist in a relationship, but it's not, 100%. We don't know, obviously, for sure. Only people who can determine if a relationship works are those two people. So that's just a disclaimer before we get started. So Lisa Bonet was born on November 16th, 1967 in San Francisco, California. She's a Scorpio sun, Taurus moon, and Lisa rose to fame in the early 80s with the Cosby Show, playing Denise Huxtable. The audience was mystified by Lisa, and still is, with just her eccentric way of dress, her spirituality that's very open, her just sensual appeal. She's very dreamy looking, very beautiful, very natural, and she just was a breath of fresh air in that industry. And so people are still captured by her mystique today. She has very beautiful soft features and intense, just natural and sultry energy. And new fans still flock to Lisa Bonet, or learn of Lisa Bonet to this day, because there's just no one like her. Lenny Kravitz was born on May 26, 1964 in Manhattan, New York. Lenny Kravitz comes from a showbiz family. His mother was on a very popular show in the 1970s called The Jeffersons, but Lenny is a rock musician, and he's also known for his eccentric style of dress, his spirituality, as well as his music. And he rose to prominence in the early 1990s. His handsome features are still admired today, and the two of them were a very bohemian, funky, and cool couple. They're what I would call aesthetic stars, where people still reference them to this day. Via their pictures, whenever they're trying to go for that look, they usually reference those two. And they were just a very beautiful couple and very interesting. And so that's why I wanted to do this video. I know a lot of people will be interested in this because they are very eccentric and just very different. I also forgot to mention Lenny is a Gemini sun, Sagittarius moon. And so if you and Lisa or Lenny share the same sun and moon sign placements, leave a comment down below if you always talk to affinities towards them, and if you think that might be the reason why. Now, their paths crossed in 1987 at an audition concert in LA, where Lenny says they shared an elevator and he nervously complimented her hair. But yes, they ended up, he was engaged at the time, and she was actually, according to him, she was dating multiple different people, just casually. She was the hot young thing at the time, and they eventually ended up splitting things off with whoever they were seeing and started seeing each other exclusively. They got married, I believe, in 1987, like late 1987, after only a few months of dating. And Lisa gave birth to their one and only child, which was a daughter of their actress, the Batman actress, Zoe Kravitz, in December of 1988. And they ultimately divorced in 1993. It is speculated widely that it was due to Lenny's infidelity. Lisa actually was on the Arsenio Hall show in 1992, where she admitted that they did not have a good relationship at that time.
Taking that time to connect with my kid.
Yeah. Do you and the baby hang out with Mr. Kravitz and spend time together, the three of you, every now and then?
No.
But to this day, they actually are good friends. They were able to reconcile years later, and Lenny considers her his best friend. He speaks very highly of her.
She really helped to um, bring out the best in me and inspired me.
So just some things to keep in mind before we start. You're going to hear the words sextiles, trines, and conjunctions. When I mention these, I mention a planet having that kind of relationship with another planet in the SYNASTRY chart. Those are harmonious aspects. It basically just means there's a flow in this area of their relationship. Whereas when you hear squares and oppositions, it may have been something that had to get worked through in the relationship in order for there to be harmony. So just keep that in mind. And also just orbs. So basically, the strength of an aspect depends on how strong or how tight the orb is. Synergy charts typically go up to 4 degrees. So when you hear me mention, for instance, a 0-degree orb, that will be considered a very strong aspect of the relationship. So just something to keep in mind, because this is astrology. I want you guys to really understand what I'm talking about. And the first aspect we're going to discuss is Mercury trine Saturn. And in this aspect, Lisa is the Mercury partner and Lenny as the Saturn partner. Now, Mercury as a planet in astrology is known for its representing communication and thought processing, and Saturn is a very serious, very disciplined planet. So this would allude to, in the relationship, Lisa being very grateful for perhaps for Lenny bringing form to her ideas. She may have seen him as very wise and very logical and would have appreciated that about him. To her, perhaps more whimsy approach to life. She's known for being very introverted and very mysterious, and he may have been someone who expressed how she felt very easily, and anyone would appreciate that. Now, this was trying, so it would have brought a lot of balance to the relationship, and it could have made their problem solving and the way they handled practical matters of the relationship very smooth, very harmonious, as they would have understood each other's role in the partnership very, very well. The next aspect we're going to discuss is also at 0 degrees, and it is Saturn square Venus. This aspect would present a challenge, as you can hear from the square, and it may have started a cycle, which would have occurred where Lisa, who was the Saturn partner in this case, may have felt that Lenny, the Venus partner, was withdrawing in some way. Lenny may have felt that she was a little demanding, and this aspect does allude to there being some jealousy at the heart of, the relationship, and it would have meant that Lisa may have been a little jealous of the outside interest that Lenny had, whether it had been a person or a hobby, and it would have caused some tension as Lenny may have tried to appease that by trying to withdraw from his hobbies, and it would have only caused resentment on his end. So it would have just caused a little bit of a challenge in the relationship. Lisa may have felt neglected. And keep in mind, actually, their relationship, when they first started dating, Lisa was already established, and Lenny was just starting his career. He wasn't even going by his stage name, Lenny Kravitz, which is his real name. He was going by his stage name. So he may have been devoting a lot of time to his starting his career, and it may have affected some things in how Lisa felt he was devoting to the time Lisa felt he was devoting to their partnership. So very interesting aspect, and it's at 0 degrees, so it would have been a very, very felt aspect. And I want you to keep this aspect in mind because there are other aspects later on that kind of reveal this may have been a pattern. Next we have Midheaven square Venus with Lisa as the Midheaven partner. In astrology, Midheaven represents career and public image, and Venus represents beauty, creativity, charm, and in some cases manipulation. So with this being a square, Lisa may have enjoyed Lenny's unique aesthetic and style, and Lenny may have also charmed her into supporting his social climb. Lisa may have liked the intrigue that the pairing caused, but this being a square, this would pose some challenges eventually because Lisa could have felt that he relied on her too much for his career, and Lisa was the more known of the two of them at the time, and she was already established in her career, and this could have made Lisa feel overly responsible for Lenny's career, as he was someone who was just starting out, still trying to do things, and she probably felt really compelled or responsible for him and his image. The next aspect we have is Mars sextile Chiron, and we're still at 0 degrees. Mars in astrology represents direct, aggressive, passionate energy, usually represents someone's drive and how they go after things. And Chiron represents wounds, hurts, things that need to be healed. So we have Mars sextile Chiron. Lisa is the Mars partner. So in Lisa and Lenny's relationship, Lenny may have really been inspired by Lisa's drive and her go for it attitude and approach toward her life and career.
Close to you these days, the TV show, this movie coming out, your career, it would seem, is really heading skyward now.
Yeah, that's
Do you have to kind of keep a grip on yourself a little bit, or are you just going to enjoy this while you...
Well, no. I mean, I think that it's really important for me to keep a grip on myself, as you say, and just really stay grounded. And I think I have a good sense of what I want to do and where I want to go and who I am.
And he may have recognized the ways that he held himself back until he met her, in the way that she expressed herself very freely without any restrictions on herself. Her strong sense of self really inspired him, and something that he wanted to emulate within himself he would have saw in Lisa. So this was a very harmonious and positive aspect, and it would have made him feel very, very compelled to go after what he wants, go after his dreams, and she would have been that representation of that. Now next, and this is the last 0-degree orb, we have Jupiter sextile North Node. In astrology, Jupiter represents expansion, spirituality, and it's just a really, really bright and beautiful planet. And the North Node represents the lessons we still have to learn in this life. And in this case, Lisa is the Jupiter partner. So this relationship may have felt faded, unfortunate. I would consider this a soulmate aspect because of the strong indicator of past life connection in the sense of being on a spiritual journey together. So the relationship may have felt faded. They may have felt they were truly brought together for a purpose.
The Cosby Show.
We met and we liked each other a lot, but there was, a romantic thing going on.
We used to tell people that we were brother and sister. And then one day I turned around and I looked at him and I knew that was my man.
Oh, the press was hardcore because she was hot at that time. The Cosby Show was #1. Everybody wanted Lisa Bonet.
The tabloids had a field day, but Lenny had found his muse. He and Lisa lived together, loved together, wrote songs together.
We both just had something that was incredibly magical. So when I started hanging out with her is when I started writing Let Love Rule.
And, the purpose was to help each other grow, and Lenny may have actually allowed and actually welcomed Lisa and accepted her as being a teacher, mentor figure in his life. And, she also took that role probably for the first time where she was helping to expand someone's views and just truly expanding and changing his outlook on life.
2, there's 1, I have a guru who I go see who keeps me pretty intact. And then there's Felicia Rashad, who plays the mother on our show, who is also a disciple of Guru Mai's. And it's really good to be able to share this love with her. It's not just to the fathers, it's to everyone. Yeah. It's just like to forgive, We need to forgive in order to really be free. It's such an explosive situation when you do hear the children talk about, because there's the suffering, the loss, and there's the anger. Of the lack of responsibility, but then there's not the altitude that the kids need, the insight, the growth, to realize, oh, okay, my father has suffered. His father probably wasn't around either,
Things, and it's interesting because Lisa is known as someone who's very philosophical. We kind of view her in that way, someone who's really wise and philosophical and spiritual, and this way of thinking, Lisa stepping into that would have obviously greatly helped both of their careers. Lenny is someone who's now all about love.
We ain't in 1960 right now, and this mess is still going on. We still have not learned about unity. We still have not learned about trust. We still have not learned about doing things together and accepting each other, dropping our fears, and coming together. We have not accomplished this, so I'm going to sing about it.
Who knows if that's what it would have been like had he not been with Lisa. So this is a very harmonious aspect, and she would have helped him a lot, and him realizing his true purpose with just her being herself and her teaching him and him accepting that in her, and welcoming that in his life. So this is a very good aspect. Next we have Jupiter opposition Saturn at 1 degrees. Lisa is again the Jupiter partner. This aspect kind of expounds on an aspect I mentioned earlier that alluded to Lisa feeling overly responsible for Lenny's career. With opposition, obviously this could cause tension, and Lenny may have been pacing himself basically in his approach to his career. And actually in his book he does mention how his journey of how he got into the industry, and it was very slow paced. He took his time, he was very strategic, and even when he wasn't being strategic and he was kind of just floating about, it was just he took his time. He didn't rush into anything. He was trying to find his own voice for a very long time before he actually started his career.
Very adamant about bringing me up with these values that he had, about creating a very strong foundation, and being disciplined so that you would follow through, so that you would always see your goal. You would go through all the proper steps to see your goal.
Now this could have conflicted with how Lisa approached her career, how she approached life. She probably was someone who just went for it, and didn't place restrictions on herself, and she had really, really big ideas, was very creative, very open-minded, and she would have probably had some issue with his approach to his career, feeling burdened that it wasn't moving fast enough for her, or feeling like she had to do so much for him, whereas he probably had no problem taking his time. And perhaps, so far it's interesting because it seems like their relationship was affected very greatly by their careers, and them being so young, they may have not been able to properly handle the pressures of being in the public eye, and it could have led to the breakdown of their relationship. So it's a very interesting aspect, and it just goes to show that it did become a pattern perhaps in the relationship, just Lisa feeling overly responsible for him. Next at 1 degrees is Venus square Venus. Now this is a very interesting one because both partners are the Venus partner, so listen very closely. This would have been a very hard and painful aspect. As I said before, Venus represents charm, beauty, love, creativity, and to be in a square, it would mean that their affections, or they express their affections, their interests, as well as socializing, or they express those things would be vastly different. Lisa's going to be an introvert.
Started the film.
Yes.
And he gave his blessing.
Yes.
Okay. And now, of course, he hasn't seen the film yet, has he?
No.
And has he commented anything at all about the controversy of it?
Yeah, just that it's boring and stupid and don't worry about it.
Much of a challenge, just the way that she expressed herself versus the way that he did. He may have been more outwardly, and that would have caused a little bit of an issue sometimes. Now we also have to look into the fact that, this also would represent expressing your affections differently. Now, in recent years, people have placed a big emphasis on love languages and speaking your partner's love language. This would not have been the case in this aspect. Venus square Venus means that you just simply cannot, or it's a big argument about someone feeling like they're not getting what they need out of a relationship romantically. So this would have affected things negatively if not worked through, understood, and not finding understanding in each other's differences. However, there was a lot to balance this out. This next aspect, which is Mercury sextile Uranus. So Lisa is the Mercury partner in this aspect. Lenny is the Uranus partner. Uranus represents basically change, eccentricity, innovation in astrology as a planet. And this would have made for a very inspiring conversation. There would have been encouragement of each other's visions and emphasis on taboo subjects, and just a beautiful flowing of the creative energy and conversation. I mentioned before, Lisa would have really opened Lenny's mind and expanded his views on life. And
they were soulmates.
Hello, darling.
Hello, how are you? Lisa's mother was white, Father was black. Lisa, it's the opposite of Lenny. They were both half Jewish.
Right now we have a video that my gal directed.
Oh, my stars!
And it's called Let Love Rule.
This kind of expounds on that. You would have had a lot of eccentric, conversation.
Became Let Love Rule. Lenny was inspired by Lisa.
I saw myself in her.
It really was, as far as they were concerned, this thing that was happening between them that got on that record.
We're focusing on occult sciences and spirituality, and Lenny actually often mentions, he talks about his relationship with Lisa, the magic that it was, and this would definitely explain that. It's a very beautiful aspect, and it just means that they had a great conversation that was just very electric and where they just were, feel like it was magic, very beautiful aspect. So we also have Saturn sextile Sun at 1 degree with Lenny being the Sun partner. This aspect is very beautiful. It alludes to Lisa being very loyal and responsible to the relationship, very devoted, very dedicated to the relationship. And as a couple, they would have been willing to do what needed to be done in terms of practical matters to make things work. I see this as Lisa helping Lenny to mature through the relationship, and she may have been someone who took the relationship very seriously and really, really wanted him to as well. So he would have had to really grow to be with her. Now, even though this is a sextile, it's interesting because it can cause an issue. Say, for instance, if Lisa was too hard on Lenny, or she felt he wasn't taking it as seriously as her, maybe she took it very, very seriously and was very devoted, and if she thought she was not getting that in return from him, it could have caused tension. She would have felt that he was having more fun with his other interests.
Lenny had strayed from his marriage and message. In the summer of '90, the media became aroused over Lenny's collaboration with pop diva Madonna.
I want to kiss you in Paris.
Lenny maintained the relationship was strictly musical.
I want to hold your hand,
and he wrote a song called Justify My Love, expressly for the material girl.
Or his other hobbies, or things that were outside of the relationship, it could have caused the issue, and she may have felt that he wasn't mature enough, but that could be the case. I mean, we know from previous aspects that was kind of a theme in the relationship, just how serious she took it. So, beautiful aspect, just shows loyalty and devotion on Lisa's part, and just her dedication to the partnership. But it could also be an issue if that was taken to an extreme. If you're still here, make sure you comment we're learning, because we are learning about astrology. If you feel like you're learning something, definitely let me know. Now, next is Mercury trine North Node. Now, Lisa's the Mercury partner in this one. This is another gorgeous, harmonious aspect, and it would allude to Lisa being this teacher, mentor, something we talked about previously, another aspect, just what she would have given to him in terms of teaching him a lot of different ways of viewing things. Would have really stimulated him with different subjects and things he may not have thought about in terms of life before. They could have helped him in his life, could have helped him in his career, possibly. And Lisa, again, just acting as his mentor, Lenny being totally receptive to it, encouraging that, and encouraging her actually to expound on those gifts of, her teacher gifts, probably wanting her to do that on a bigger level, and just really loving that, getting that from her. And taking it to see what she was teaching, and I think that's really, really beautiful, encouraging, and it's kind of like that Erykah Badu effect. Erykah Badu is infamous for the effect that she has on the men that she's dated, and the fact that after they were with her, they become more philosophical, more conscious, and it seems that Lisa may have also had that effect on Lenny Kravitz, and I like to think to this day, in all his endeavors, he's very about peace and love, and his music, and that's what it's about. And I like to think that has something to do with Lisa. I think he would as well.
Something to try and help make a difference. There's so many problems we're having right now on the planet, not to be a downer, but it's there, and we have to do something about it, or there's not going to be a planet. As much as a fairy tale as that sounds like, we never think it could ever end or be over. So I think that was a big issue. Really saying something with the record. And that's really it, just being real with myself.
Talked about in a lot of interviews, and just the effect she had on him, even though it's long ago, it obviously still resonates, the things that she gave to him in that relationship. Next we have North Node opposition Midheaven, with Lenny as the Midheaven partner. Now this aspect would again allude to Lisa feeling burdensome in the relationship, and she may have felt that she was held back or that she couldn't evolve or grow in the ways that she wanted because she placed so much emphasis on him and helping him in his career or in life in general. You know, again, a major theme in their chart, and there may have been a remedy that balanced that. In the next aspect, or other aspects, you know, you got to think about a chart as each part playing a part in a piece of the whole and affecting the whole. So if there's similar aspects of this, obviously it was a major theme, but there also was good things in their relationship, as we know. So we have Midheaven sextile Sun at 1 degree. So Midheaven sextile Sun, Lenny is the Sun partner. Through his relationship with Lisa, Lenny received a lot of career opportunities, and Lisa made sure of this, working silently in the background for his benefit and for his image, and just being of great influence to him.
Riding on the TV star coattails of his famous wife.
Oh yeah, I was Mr. Bonet, they said. And I said, well, if I gotta be Mr. Bonet, I said, I'm happy to be Mr. Bonet. I know who I am and what I have to do. Y'all can call me whatever you want to call me.
He often talks about how that first album he did, Let Love Rule, she was a major part, just the energy she brought to him. Literally, that's what the whole album is about. So this is a really strong energy in their chart, and what I love about this aspect, I think it's really beautiful because it shows that Lenny would have been very appreciative of this. You know, we talk a lot about how Lisa helped his career a lot. This aspect really shows that Lenny did not take that for granted, and he really did appreciate and give her high praise for all the things that she did for him, which I think is really beautiful. And he would have really encouraged her dreams as well. You know, we said before that he really admired her strength, her drive, and that would have continued throughout the relationship, where he always encouraged her to go after what she wants as well, as he always loved it about her. You know, so I love that he just didn't take it for granted, and you know, it's really beautiful because we can see that it wasn't just like a using kind of thing. It was reciprocal, and they did help each other to grow and to gain a lot career-wise. Now we're running down with the 2-degree orbs. We have Mercury trine Venus at 2 degrees, with Lisa being the Mercury partner. Lenny would have been more artsy and creative and would have brought Lisa into that world. A site I looked at described it as subtly synthesizing her outlook, which I love, and she in turn would have helped him better express this interest. Lenny, you know, as well as being a musical artist, he's also an interior designer, and he has his own website, and he's, you know, had fashion campaigns with YSL and that kind of thing. So he's very involved in every aspect, as well as with his music, very involved in every aspect of the arts. And Lisa would have gleaned a lot from that, gained a lot from that, really been stimulated in this regard, and in turn pulling more expression from him. So another, again, just a very inspiring relationship. And next we have Venus trine Sun. Now Lisa's the Venus partner. This aspect actually indicates mutual attraction. Lenny would have been very attracted to Lisa, aren't we all? Would have found her very charming, and Lisa in turn would have loved Lenny's character and charisma, his personality, and it's like they saw through each other, immediately saw the goodness in each other.
It all really started when I got married and I found out with my wife, and she is like the female version of me. We're almost like twins, and I think I saw myself in her, and for the first time I really got a clear look at myself through that.
Goodness in each other, saw things to love. It's very beautiful aspects. We really saw commonalities and that kind of thing. It would have been a good balance because Lisa would have been very eager to please him, and Lenny would have been very happy to receive. I want you to keep in mind Lisa's actual birth chart, her Venus sign is in the sign of Libra, which is a sign of basically wanting to really please and give, very giving sign, and loving to exert a lot of energy to keep balance in a relationship, and that's just the way she loves, the way she loved him. It's probably just how she loves everyone in her life, and Lenny would have been someone who was happy to receive. They would have really valued each other and really would have saw the good in each other, so this is a really good aspect. And if you have this aspect with your partner, definitely comment down below. Next we have Jupiter trine ascendant. Now ascendant in astrology is basically our appearance and how we see ourselves and how others see us, how we feel about ourselves. Lisa's the Jupiter partner in this aspect. Again, the relationship supported spiritual growth, and Lisa enjoyed being the one to really grow Lenny's views, and Lenny in turn support Lisa's love of exploration. They were very physically attracted to each other, and they wanted to learn more about each other, just genuine interest in each other and each other's beliefs, and just great attraction. So it's a really great aspect. Just shows that they love to grow together and they fully support each other's role in the relationship. One is the giver, one is the taker, one is the more expanded minded one, and one is someone who loves to really to hear that. He's totally receptive to it, so it's a really balancing aspect. They also had another Jupiter aspect, Jupiter conjunct Uranus at 2 degrees, and that again was harmonious because of Lisa's love for learning and open-mindedness. It blends perfectly with Lenny being the Uranus partner, his forward thinking, his innovative thinking, and together they had a great stimulating conversation. We already had an aspect talked about that, and this is just another one that just shows that it was a really strong aspect of their relationship. Together they had a stimulating conversation, very stimulating style, and etc. And I would have made them appear unconventional. These couples who have this aspect tend to appear unconventional to others, but when they're alone, they find it really, really free together, and like they met someone on their wavelength. Feel like you really found your twin flame. And so this is an exciting element that encourages each other's beliefs. So this is the last aspect we're going to discuss. It's also at 2 degrees because the other two aspects that are in the chart, they're at 3 and 4 degrees respectively, and those are a little bit looser orbs, so I'll probably just put them in text at the very end of the video. But the one at 2 degrees, the last one at 2 degrees, is Jupiter square Sun, and once again Lisa is the Jupiter partner. In this aspect, Lenny may have seen Lisa as being a little bit too whimsical in her beliefs and her views. As much as he would have learned and gained from this relationship, he was still ultimately probably more conservative, just a little bit more probably. He probably was just a little bit more logical, a little bit more down to earth in his views and beliefs, and it could have caused some issues. I mean, it's a synergy chart. You gotta keep in mind that everything affects the whole, but ultimately other aspects, which in this case there is other aspects that lead to understanding and each other's beliefs and everything. This aspect may not have been felt as strongly. May have just been like an underlying thing where they may have different some opinions and about beliefs and stuff. But if you have this aspect in your synergy chart with your partner, I guess the importance of it would just depend on how you feel about if your partner has different philosophical views. My partner and I do, and it doesn't really affect us. We just respect each other's beliefs, and some people it just doesn't matter. But also this aspect is really interesting because Jupiter and Sun are very bold and big planets, bold and big energy. So it could have alluded to overindulgence in the relationship. Overindulgence of time is a big one. Just may have not known how to control themselves when they're together. This aspect could also allude to codependency. So that's what I mean when I say overindulgence of time with each other, or just overindulging in the relationship too much. Would have felt that they needed each other, and then just combined with the other energy of the chart being difference in philosophical views could have caused some issues, but give or take, not the big deal, just depending on the whole of the chart. So we reached the end, my friends, and it is dark outside, so I do apologize. The lighting is kind of weird. I hope you all enjoy learning about the different energies of Lisa Bonet Lenny Kravitz SYNASTRY chart, and at the very least just gain some astrological insight and really enjoyed that. If you were a fan of the couple, let me know if this video has made you love the couple even more or less, based on what you've heard about their SYNASTRY chart. They're certainly still one of my favorite couples. I think that they were very beautiful and unconventional and just magical, like Lenny said, and I still feel that way after seeing their chart. So if you do, let me know too. If you can't appreciate that, then at least appreciate that they gave us Zoe Kravitz, which is our Catwoman. So no one knew Lenny prior to being with Lisa. You know, so the mystique and the intrigue in their relationship was very real, and their quirkiness and just the fact they were like in their own little bubble. These young people in love, and I think it's what made people love them so much. So what do you guys think? And I agree with Lenny about the magic for sure. I think it's a very magical chart, and they probably had a very beautiful relationship, lots of love. You know, I think they were 23 and 20 when they got together. I think Lisa was 20, and so they were very young. So, you know, if any issues happened in the youth, and the fact that they had these pressures on their careers could have played a big part in the breakdown of the relationship. And I just find that really interesting. So let me know what you think. If you gained any value at all, leave a like, as it does something for you, but it does help the channel to grow. We're trying to build a community here of like-minded individuals. If you have any requests, leave a comment, and I will try to do more videos on central charts and natal charts and that kind of thing. So let me know what you'd like to see. I have some ideas, but just let me know. I'm also a spiritual life coach, so if you're interested in those services, message me on here. And I'm going to leave a link to my Etsy shop that my partner and I run, where we sell fragrance oils. So let me know if you're interested in that, and leave a like and subscribe, and tune in for the next video. I'll be filming another video next week. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Zoe's mom and I were incredibly and deeply in love. It was a magical, magical relationship and a magical time in my life. She really helped to bring out the best in me and inspired me. And it was wonderful. And we had Zoe, which is, I see now, you know, what it was all about. It was really all about bringing this beautiful child to the planet. And also sharing the love that we had. Zoe's mom and I now are best friends. It's interesting because that's how the relationship started. But it makes you feel really good when you can do that.
Thank you to God for every day. I love you, Lenny.